Welcome to Weird and Bizarre History, where we step into the shadows of the past and discover the strange and fascinating historical events that occurred on this day in history. We dive into the weird and bizarre events that shaped the world. Join us daily for tales of triumph, tragedy, scandal, and intriguing stories that will leave you speechless. Let's dive into top 10 historical events of August 23. 1. First Opium War, 1839. The UK captured Hong Kong as a strategic base during the lead-up to the First Opium War with Qing China. The war was sparked by China's attempts to restrict British opium trade. The British wanted to expand their empire and gain access to Chinese markets. The war led to the Treaty of Nanking, which ceded Hong Kong to the UK. This marked the beginning of British rule in Hong Kong. The war had significant implications for China's sovereignty and the global balance of power. The UK and China could have just had a tea party instead of a war over opium. 2. Molotov-Ribbentrop's Dark Deal, 1939. These two powers hate each other. Nazis call communists the enemy, Soviets see fascists as a threat. Yet, on August 23, 1939, their foreign ministers, Joachim von Ribbentrop for Germany and Vyacheslav Molotov for the Soviets, meet in Moscow and signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, a non-aggression treaty that divided Eastern Europe into German and Soviet spheres of influence. This pact led to the invasion of Poland and the start of World War II. The treaty allowed both powers to expand their territories without fear of each other. The pact had significant implications for global politics and led to massive human suffering. It was a temporary alliance between two ideological enemies. The pact's consequences were far-reaching and devastating. Imagine two wolves agreeing to share a meal, knowing the prey is an entire continent. This wasn't just a handshake, it was a plot to carve up Europe, and nobody saw it coming. Hitler and Stalin could have just shared a pizza and avoided World War II. 3. Aviation Mysteries, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 went missing in 2014, and despite extensive searches, its fate remains unknown. The plane disappeared en route from Malaysia to China, leaving 239 people on board without any clear explanation. The incident raised questions about aviation safety and security. Investigations continue, but the mystery remains unsolved. The disappearance of MH370 is one of the greatest aviation mysteries in history. The search efforts have been extensive, but the plane's fate remains a mystery. This is terrible and mysterious. 4. Sacco and Vanzetti's execution, 1927. Sacco and Vanzetti, two Italian anarchists, were executed in Massachusetts, sparking widespread protests. They were convicted of robbery and murder in a highly controversial trial. Many believed the trial was unfair and biased. The case drew international attention and became a symbol of injustice. The execution sparked protests and debates about the fairness of the justice system. The case remains a contentious issue in American history. The execution was seen as a symbol of oppression by many. 5. The Baltic Way, 1989. The Baltic Way was a human chain of over 2 million people that formed in the Baltic states to demand independence from the Soviet Union. The event marked a significant moment in the Baltic states' struggle for freedom. The human chain stretched over 600 kilometers and showed the unity of the Baltic people. The event was a peaceful protest against Soviet occupation. The Baltic Way played a crucial role in the eventual independence of the Baltic states. The event was a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression. 6. Stockholm Bank Robbery, 1973. A bank robbery in Stockholm led to a 6-day hostage crisis, coining the term, Stockholm Syndrome. The robbers held bank employees hostage, and the hostages began to sympathize with their captors. The event was a shocking example of the psychological bond between captors and hostages. The term, Stockholm Syndrome, was coined to describe this phenomenon. The event raised questions about human behavior under extreme circumstances. The crisis was eventually resolved, but the psychological impact on the hostages was significant. Now you know where the popular Stockholm Syndrome comes from. The robbers really meant business, holding it down for 6 whole days. 7. Torquemada's Inquisition Edict issued, 1483. Tomás de Torquemada, Spain's Grand Inquisitor, issued a decree to intensify the hunt for conversos, converted Jews, suspected of secret Judaism. The decree fueled mass persecutions, confiscations, and executions. The Spanish Inquisition was a dark period in Spanish history. The decree marked the beginning of a wave of violence against conversos. The Inquisition was characterized by its brutality and intolerance. The event had significant implications for Spanish society and Jewish communities. So after converting, they just had to make sure you aren't deceiving them. 8. Savonarola's Pre-Inquisition Defiance, 1497. Girolamo Savonarola, a Dominican friar, preached against corruption in Florence on August 23, defying papal authority. He criticized the Catholic Church's excesses and called for reform. Savonarola's sermons gained popularity, and he became a leader in Florence. However, his defiance of the Pope ultimately led to his downfall. Savonarola's movement was a precursor to the Protestant Reformation. His ideas about reform and corruption remain relevant today. Savonarola's legacy is complex, reflecting both his commitment to reform and his authoritarian tendencies. So the Pope couldn't handle a little criticism? 9. Galileo Galilei's Inquisition case escalates, 1633. The Roman Inquisition intensified its case against Galileo on August 23 for supporting heliocentrism. Galileo's findings challenged the Church's geocentric view of the universe. The Inquisition summoned him to face charges of heresy. Galileo's trial and subsequent house arrest delayed scientific progress and highlighted the Church's fear of new ideas. Despite this, Galileo's work laid the foundation for modern astronomy. His case remains a symbol of the conflict between science and dogma. Galileo's legacy as a pioneering scientist endures. The early times must have been really difficult. 10. Giordano Bruno's Inquisition inquiry begins, 1593. The Roman Inquisition started investigating Giordano Bruno on August 23 for his radical cosmological and theological ideas. Bruno's views on the universe and God's nature were deemed heretical. The Inquisition's inquiry marked the beginning of a long and brutal process that would ultimately lead to Bruno's execution by burning in 1600. Bruno's ideas were ahead of his time, and his fate served as a warning to others who dared to challenge the Church's teachings. Bruno's legacy as a martyr for free thought endures. So the Church turned Bruno into a stake because he had a different opinion? Unbelievable. That's it for today, from people wanting a whole continent to themselves like a piece of pie, to the Church making someone a martyr because he had different opinion from them. This wasn't just a date, it was a turning point that unleashed chaos. What do you think? Could such things happen today? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more daily dives into history's wildest moments. Tomorrow, we bring other shocking tales. Don't miss it. Share this video to spread the word about this unbelievable history. See you next time.